Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of my YouTube channel videos on what's going on, what is the most urgent real estate news on a weekly basis for primary home buyers as well as real estate investors. Once again, this is Si Wing Yi, and today let's go over this. And by the way, thank you for attending. And as we are going through this toward the pretty much the end of the year, and happy holidays to all of you. And hopefully your next year, 2023, will be a exciting year. And hopefully you guys are doing some New Year's resolutions to hopefully to create generational wealth through real estate, either as a primary home buyer or as a real estate investor. So without further ado, let's go over this title by Redfin. Of course, many of you know I use the Redfin data quite a bit, among others, like Zillow, National Association of Realtors, CoreLogic, and various other third-party resources that are pretty reputable. All right, so without further ado, the title of this Redfin report dated December 21st, a few days ago, is Share of Homes Bought with All Cash hits highest level since 2014. We're talking almost 9 years now. We're increasingly seeing more cash buyers of let's say home purchases. Now, what Redfin failed to clarify is what type of buyers are buying these homes. I could only guess at this moment. There are probably some of it or mom and pop, small potato real estate investors, like the one we consult with. In case you do not know, I am a real estate consultant, real estate investor. We help real estate investors, mom and pop investors from different part of the country to buy out of state turnkey cash flow residential investing houses in the most affordable markets in the US, and we've been doing it for 20 years. So suffice to say, we have helped thousands of real estate investors, many of them from California, but some from other states as well, to buy great cash flow properties that will create generational wealth for those individuals that have the courage and the wherewithal to take action, regardless of market environment. So today, again, let's go back to we have like almost 32% of all the U.S. home purchases were made with all cash. As I said, Redfin did not break it down, but I have to assume that part of the percentage of the 32% are institutional investors from Wall Street, from hedge funds, the BlackRock of the world, the Imitation Home, the Home for Rent, those type of Wall Street hedge funds that has been entering the housing market for ever since the last recession back in 2008. They've been buying these kind of homes, and they will continue to do so. So that's one category of buyers. The other category of buyers are, very, very wealthy group of investors that pull their money together to buy syndications, to buy multi portfolios. Each investor, put in a small percentage of their money, like $10 million, $20 million portfolios, multi-units, and syndications, right? And very, very passive, just like mutual funds or real estate investment trusts, REIT, those REITs. And then the last component, I believe, are mom and pop real estate investors like you and I, and the one that we consult with over many, many years, more than 20 years myself. I guide investors, mom and pop investors, to buy cheap rental entry-level homes and put a renter in place, professional property management in the best markets in the country, very, very entry-level prices. We ignore those $500,000 homes, $1 million homes in those pricey markets. That's not our forte, if you will. We help investors buy rental homes cost anywhere from $100,000 to $350,000, and match the right rent relative to those entry-level homes, so investors can positive cash flow with 25% down payment, right? So anyway, if you want to learn more about it, you can subscribe to our email newsletters at the bottom of this video, at the end of this video, so you can become a free member of our real estate investing community. Otherwise, if you see value from this video, please smash the like button and subscribe to my channel, and invite other people you know to watch my YouTube channels, so you could become a informed real estate home buyer and investors. Anyway, roughly almost 30. We pretty much saying that 1/3 of home purchases were purchased with cash. So we're talking some really upscale, deep pockets of home buyers that are doing this. And good thing about it is all the things we talk about, being the interest rate, this and that, low affordability and all that. I get it. So this home, by buying cash, you can pretty much bypass the allegedly high mortgage interest rate of 6.3% the last time I checked. That's the mortgage rate. So yeah, I know there are many people talk about the high mortgage rate, and that's really killing the housing market and all that. Only if you have very limited finances, then if you subject yourself to a mortgage, yeah, you have to deal with the higher mortgage rates. But in this article by Redfin, I'm just talking about all cash buyers. They don't care about mortgage rate. They just look at the yield. They just look at the return on their investment. Buy all cash, and if you rent the property, if they are investors, if you rent the property, you're probably gonna achieve cash flow as long as you buy the lower cost entry level homes, and not the $1 million homes or $500,000 homes that are reflected in many of the expensive markets, like in California, where I live. California, in the Northeast, and those big metros, those are not investors based type of strategies. But if you're a primary home buyer, if you're first time home buyers, yes, of course, some of you are very savvy. They have deep pockets that you can buy with cash. But again, 32% of home buyers are buy with all cash, owner occupied, and investment homes. So that's that. Now the data that Redfin provided on this article is only based on county records of across 39 of the most populous U.S. metropolitan areas, dating back to 2011. So we're talking about it for the past 12, 13 years. 39 of the most populous metros, you could say, San Francisco Bay Area, Orange County, LA County, San Diego, Chicago, New York City, Miami, Chicago, and Dallas or Houston. These are, I would have to believe, these the 10 metros I just named, and I forgot a few that are part of the 39 metros. So I can only surmise that it's not a cross section of all the housing markets, that Redfin have done the research to indicate how they came up with the 32% of the home purchases were using cash. But I could also make a reasonable estimation that had Redfin researched the all 400 MSA, we're talking 400 metropolitan statistical areas. Yeah, we're talking like 3,000 counties, right? We're talking about 8,000 cities. If you want to expand beyond the data that Redfin has just done. So sort of this article failed to mention that the research they have done to came up with this data is only 39 metros, not 400 metros. So yeah, you have to take it with a grain of salt. So whenever I quote this kind of news resources, I always question their validity, question their accuracy, and question the legitimacy of their data. So not to say I don't trust Redfin, but it's my job because I've been doing it. I've been doing investment real estate for more than 30 years. So I tend to think I know what I'm talking about because I've gone through several real estate cycles, up and down, sideways, whatever. So suffice to say, I'm one of the more experienced YouTubers out there that talk a good game, that give you factual information, give you data, whereas the other YouTube channels are very hype. Is all clickbait, doom and gloom, the sky is falling type of information, which is very, very paralyzing especially for novice, unsophisticated watchers of YouTube channels. So I hate to say that, but anyway. So let me see what else I can conclude from this article as we concluding this short video. All cash purchases are most prevalent in Florida, which is to me obviously is no surprise because I've been guiding our mom and pop risk investors to buy in Florida for the past 20 years in Central Florida and Southwest Florida, and they have done very, very well over the years. Now, most of my investors, they are buying with 25% down payment because we want to use leverage, right? When you use the loan to finance the investment home purchases, you can scale your real estate portfolio greater. The return is higher if you use investment loans. I don't want to go too much detail, but I don't really particularly like people buying all cash, although there's nothing wrong with that either. But I have to believe some of those people that bought all cash initially, I have to believe that some of them down the road, perhaps they want to cash out, refinance their massive equity that they have on their portfolio so they can leverage to buy more houses, either to rent it out as an investor or to live, should they choose to do so. But suffice to say, all cash buyers, they have a lot of discretion. They are very confident. They have the money and the wherewithal to do this, and not many people can do this. But surprisingly, not surprisingly, 1/3 of home buyers are using cash. So another way I'm saying that the real estate asset class is still, regardless of today's environment, recession, inflation, some people call it crash, which is no way it's going to be a crash. Real estate continue to be one of the history of the world's most lucrative investment in the world of all the asset classes, real estate, especially income property and rental properties. And I have talked about it over many, many years, many videos. If you watch my YouTube channel, you will see the reasons why. So yeah, Florida has been continually one of the best areas to buy properties to live and to rent it out. So it will, for many, many years in the past, it will continue to do so. So no surprise at all. Most of the all cash buyers are in Florida, especially in South Florida, these multi-million-dollar homes in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, and South and Southeast Florida. But there are a lot of cash purchases in Florida, in Central Florida and in Southwest Florida, the market that we go into. Again, most of our investors, they use investment loans to finance their rental purchases in Florida, but some, they have IRAs, individual retirement account. So so from that perspective, you can call that cash purchase. When somebody have like 200,000 of IRAs, they can use the IRA to buy investment property all cash. So that's, you can lump the IRA purchases as part of the scenario of all cash purchases, which, by the way, I personally have consulted many real estate investors to use their IRA to buy with all cash rental properties in many parts of the country, not just Florida. All right, so all cash purchases are in Florida, Jacksonville, where half of the home purchases were cash, half of the purchases in Jacksonville, Florida were made in cash, followed by West Palm Beach, which is in Southeast Florida, right above Miami, 48%. Wow. Next clump, no surprise to me, but it could be surprising to you. The Midwest market is really up and coming because the homes are so affordable in the Midwest. So a lot of investors and a lot of home buyers, more and more of primary home buyers, are targeting Midwest housing markets such as Cleveland. Unsurprisingly to me, but to many of you, almost half of the home purchases made were for all cash. And I have to believe these are investors, not primary home buyers. Does it make sense? Cincinnati, same thing, almost 50% of housing purchases were made by cash, followed by Atlanta at 41%. Florida is home to a lot of affluent buyers. That's right, affluent buyers from out of state, right? The locals are being priced out of many housing markets in Florida, not just recently, but for many, many, many years. So, anyway, Florida is home to a lot of affluent, wealthy investors, especially with the ability to finance home purchases with all cash. How could you, if you buy all cash, why you say the word finance? So there's some grammatical errors associated with Redfin, which is quite misleading. When you do an all cash, you don't need the finance. Get this word out of here. All right. So Cleveland and Cincinnati are quite affordable. How affordable? I would have to say $150,000 to $200,000. Yeah, it's pretty easy to pay all cash, especially for deep pocket affluent real estate investors, many of which are from our network that we are helping to buy in many markets in Midwest and South and Southeast, by the way. We ignore the entire western section of the U.S., California, Pacific Northwest, and the Sun Belt of the western region of the U.S., Phoenix and Las Vegas and Boise. We avoid those markets because those home prices are pretty expensive and investors cannot cash flow buying in the western portion of the U.S. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Do you understand the word come out of my mouth? It's a movie, Rush Hour, by Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Do you understand the word that come out of my mouth? Expensive West Coast metros dominate the list with the lowest share of all cash purchases. Obviously, because home prices in expensive West Coast metros like in San Jose and where I live for more than 30 years, and Oakland and even Seattle, Los Angeles, New Jersey, cash buyers were consisted only of 14 to 16% to 19% to 19% to 20% because the average price of homes in those markets are, at least $750,000, maybe up to 1 million or even higher. So not too many people have cash to buy in these expensive markets, nor they should. All right, with a typical home selling well over 1 million in San Jose and a high six-figure in Oakland, Seattle, LA, Seattle, it's very challenging to put all cash, especially if you guys have not heard the West Coast cities, which are high-tech based. There are some, layoffs going on. That's all in the news. Plus, there's more, because the housing markets in the West are cyclical in nature. So no surprise to me that the housing markets in the western region of the U.S., especially this past year, 2022, we have seen some reduction and correction of home prices around 10%, more so than others. So no surprise for me because I've been through many, many real estate cycles. Then this article talk about FHA, or Federal Housing Administration. They are for primary home buyers only, people putting 3.5% down payment. So this article goes on to say that FHA buyers, there are more of them are coming out of the woodwork because currently is a relatively low price home they can buy right now because there are no competing offers and a high likelihood that the seller will accept their loan type. So because of the demand is lower due to higher interest rate, first-time home buyers have this small window of opportunity to buy homes right now without going through the bidding war and multiple offers that we have seen during the pandemic of 2020 and 2021 and part of 2022. So this was small window, not only FHA home buyers, but down here, this article also mentioned VA loans, Veteran Administration loans, where primary home buyers, for those people that are ex-military veteran, like myself, by the way, in case I not only am a U.S. Army veteran, I retired with the U.S. Army for 20 years of active duty service. I retired more than 20 years ago. So if anybody knows about military veterans and people using the 0% down VA loans, is a amazing. Little that I know when I was in active duty decades ago, that the VA loans, the 0% down loan for primary home buyers, are by the number one best benefit of joining the military, the U.S. Armed Forces, is the VA loan, and you can buy primary home, owner occupied home for 0% down. As a matter of fact, you can buy up to a fourplex with 0% down as long as you live in one of the units. So that's what you call it, house hacking. I would love to talk about house hacking for military veterans, active duty soldiers, and retirees such as myself. You can still buy 0% down payment, single family homes, duplex, triplex, or fourplex, as long as you live in one of the unit, and that, in essence, is a primary home strategy. So another word is house hacking, which I have done many times. That was subject to another video. If I want to put that out, I already put out one video some time ago, that how to house hack if you are a military veteran, which is a absolutely amazing benefit. It's like winning the real estate lottery for those people that understand how the 0% down VA loan can help them achieve multi-millionaire status, like I have achieved. I've done a lot of house hacking over the years, especially in California. So just crunch the numbers. So as I conclude this video, the share of home purchases using all cash this past up until October 22nd, year to date, for the past year, the percentage of people buying all cash in Anaheim, in LA, 24% of the buyers have purchased all cash. Atlanta, 41%, Charlotte, 37%, Chicago, 26%, Cincinnati, 43%, Cleveland, 47%. Suffice to say, the more expensive markets, the less all cash purchases. That's pretty obvious. And the cheaper the market, more people buying more percentage of higher cash purchases. So as you can go through the list yourself, that you can learn more about that. So what's the takeaway from this video is that yes, there's a lot of people, first-time home buyers especially, are not very sophisticated. They are waiting the sideline. They can't afford to buy because of the mortgage rates. They can't afford to qualify. And other, move-up buyers, they are also scared, fearful. They are confused about the housing market. And with a rising interest rate of 6.3%, which is historically is not that high. But then think about it. If 31 to 32% of all the home purchases are all cash, so that tells you that educated, sophisticated primary home buyers and real estate investors still believe in real estate. They still believe real estate, as I do, is a great long-term investment. It's the greatest asset class to purchase, especially when you buy all cash and you rent it out, so you can achieve a tremendous amount of passive income for the long term. That is. So so people that have a lot of money to invest. Those are deep pocket house buyers. They're wise to avoid the stock market. because the market is have done very, very bad lately, and the other asset class like crypto and Bitcoin, all those are very speculative investments. So if you want to beat inflation, if you have the money to do so, real estate houses are the best asset class on a historical basis. And I can preach this all day long and twice on Sundays. So again, 32% of the home buyers are using cash. That tells me that people that have the money, they understand real estate is a great investment and they don't mind putting up the cash, all cash to purchase. Although I still like, instead of buying all cash on a $300,000 property, I'd rather buy 4 different houses, rental properties with 25% down, so you can leverage, you can scale your real estate portfolio. So anyway, that's all I have to say. So for the rest of you primary home buyers or newbies out there, you can still, if you can afford it, even at an interest rate that we're seeing right now, regardless of the doom and gloom, negative headlines that we all see. But if you can afford it, if you're going to stay at your home, primary home that is, of 7 to 10 years, if you have good job stability, you can afford it with a down payment, you have cash reserve, emergency money. If you like the area that you want to buy, then by all means, buy your properties now, because I'd rather buy real estate and wait instead of wait to buy real estate. And for real estate investors, it's not about the interest rate, right? It's about the cash flow. So if you have the 25% down payment to buy a entry-level home somewhere in the Midwest or Southeast for $100,000 or $50,000 or $350,000, as long as the rent to value ratio support your purchase price and you have the 25% down payment, that's a no-brainer. Pull the trigger right now. Even with a higher interest rate, investors have to qualify for, but you still cash flow. You can cash flow that, that is icing on a cake. If you invest for the long term, 10 years or more, you'll be fine even right now, especially right now when there are a lot of great deals out there. All right, so thank you for listening. If you see value in this presentation, please smash the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you receive weekly updates about general real estate markets, activities, and real estate investing information. Thank you so much. This is Si Wing Yi, and I will see you on the next video. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.